Okay, so Roy, thank you for joining us today. If anyone doesn't know Roy, put your hand up. Okay, that's good.
That made me feel comfortable now.
So Roy is the co-founder of TheTell-Tale, now known as Monday.com. I've had the privilege and good fortune to have met Roy right at the beginning when he started his company, and having the luck that Roy would take some of our money to start Monday.com. And I've been extremely privileged to watch as Roy and Aran and the ever-growing Monday team have built the most fantastic business and have made every mistake in the book and somehow still become really a company that's unbelievably successful and worthy of looking up to. And they do a heck of a lot in the startup ecosystem. So, Roy, welcome today, and thank you very much.
Okay, it's great to be here, and I'll tell you, we didn't do all the mistakes in the book. A lot of mistakes I've done in past companies. I just thought about it now. You showed so many statistics, and I have one of my own. 50% of the time that I spend in building startups was failure. Okay, I closed 2 companies before building Monday, and most of the time, I worked on stuff that failed. So so now it's I'm now at 50%. If you count the beginning of Monday, then it's more than 50%.
So next startup should be better.
Well, no, the thing is, when you succeed and keep at it and you don't sell the company, you stay at it and it's fun still. So I don't see any other company in the future.
So let's just kind of discuss, you've seen a lot, and what would you say are, in your opinion, from what you've seen, the 2 or 3 things that cause companies to fail at this very early stage and to succeed at this very early stage?
So it's a really good question, and I've had been talking with I don't know, probably hundreds of entrepreneurs up until today, and that's why we started Startup for Startup. And I will, and I think in the last few years, I felt everyone was doing amazingly well, so much money, and it was easier. And now I think it's back to fundamentals, okay? A lot of, I've been having recently a lot of conversations with many founders as well, and it's harder. You feel the crunch. It's back to basics and a lot of confusion in what makes sense or what not, and those kind of stuff. So for me, it's a lot about what you said, taking risks in terms of thinking in what is a risk in my company. So the biggest pitfall is doing what you like to do. Okay, you start doing a startup. My first one, I loved building stuff, I loved coding, so that's what I did. I didn't raise money, I didn't do 90% of what's needed to build a company. I did what I love to do, which is coding. So that's not only what you should do. You should look at all the, and think backwards, okay? If you look at, how much time do I have to live? That's the first question. No one is asking that. I had entrepreneurs come and talk with me about product, really deep product question, and I'm telling them, how much time do you have to live? 2 months. Okay, who cares? It's not like you're building a roadmap for 2 years and talking about the future, but you're going to close in 2 months. So think in that perspective. When are you really going to close? Or when do you say I'm out of money, closing is something else, some people like myself linger on for a few more years without salaries and a lot of those stuff. So when do you want to raise the money? Work it backwards, okay? What do I need to do to be a good fit for investment? Because at the end, that's a good way to think about the company risks. Do I have customers? Are they paying? Do they want it or not? Building something for 8 months, going out and raising money is not the same as building something, having paying customers and raising money, right? So, like, and we have an episode for that. Like episode 12. 12. Yeah, it's a formalized one after meeting like hundreds of entrepreneurs. Like we formalized it, and I recommend it to everyone.
So just to elaborate, Monday set up a group called Startup for Startup, which you can access on Facebook, and it's got a website, and you can get a lot of resources from Monday. Including podcasts and other tools that are on that site, and it's a big contributor and big help for entrepreneurs along the way. As you said, I find today that a lot of startups we come across or things that we're doing is people have forgotten in the last year or two that revenue is the best form of equity, and they are busy closing their first round, and now they're automatically already on their second round. So, I think maybe the pendulum swung too far the one way, where it became a celebration of how much money you raise and how quickly you raise and the next round and the next round. And maybe some people are forgetting that you actually have to build a business.
That's your perspective. I think the entrepreneur perspective is I raise money, I'm going to build a company. Oh, they're always approaching me to force me to get another round, What do I need to do?
Yeah.
So that was the, atmosphere, like I think 2 years ago. Now I don't think everyone, it'll change. So I think, again, it's back to basics, like what you said, like driving revenue, paying customers, really showing proof, building a real business, and then you will raise money, not the other way around, which was up until now. So I think it was a bit harmful for both companies and the venture world, because you have too much money, you're expected to spend it, and you're not going to do it wisely when you have zero input from the market. You didn't build a company, or a product, you didn't launch it, but you got all that money, you need to hire a lot of people to build the product, and then I think that's wrong. Like, you don't need a lot of people to build the product, the initial product. I can tell you now, we've launched in the last quarter, 2 new products. Workforms and Canvas, which is like a whiteboard. Like, both of them have very small teams working on them. On Canvas, 2 people worked on it for 2 months, and then we launched it. Okay, so it's still something I really believe in, do something really quickly, launch it, get feedback, and get that feedback loop going. Again, depends on industry and whatever, but product companies, web products, and those kind of stuff, I think quick iterations is the best.
And kind of like when you look at back and you take that knowledge and you put it back to Monday, right at the beginning, when we had first 6 customers and we're stuck. What do you think, looking back, were the 1 or 2 of the biggest mistakes that you think that you did?
Well, it took me a long time to understand what product fit is.
Yeah.
So the idea is, and I don't know how to convey it to you, it took me 3 years to understand, and Avishai saying that he threw a keyboard on me. Avishai, the CEO of Wix, he's really helped me in the beginning. But it's really wanting to have something that people want to buy. That this is what drives you, not building a good product that you think is good. It's something that people actually want, that it's meaningful for them, and looking at them, not looking at, the product itself. And so we started off by doing something at Wix, with Wix being the first customer. And then, that's a trap. It looks like a good thing, but it's actually a trap, because you have someone like Wix really wanting, and they're the first customer, and they really wanted it, okay? So obviously it succeeded there. But then we went to the second customer, and it didn't really fit. And Wix grew a lot, and we grew with them in the beginning. And then it took us a while to understand that Wix is not our customer. Like the first Wix was our customer, not the last one. Like when they grew, they were a different company. And when they started, that was when they had the problem, okay, when they were small. Okay, so it took us a long while to understand that the small companies are where we should start it with, like a year, okay? And then we needed to completely change product to succeed. It was like a awful time, really like a year and a half that like nothing worked, and until we changed the product, and you know it was funny because we developed the whole product, okay, from scratch, and it's what's like the base of Monday Today, like the board, right, like the view of the board. It wasn't how we started. We started with just something conversational. But I went to some customers and showed them a PowerPoint slide with that UI. And they're like, wow, like I saw the, you know, glitter in their eyes. It's amazing, that's exactly what we need and whatever. So we developed it already, but like I got the feedback from just like the slides. And we didn't really know what to do, like when you click on a row. Like we didn't have any idea of what it is, just like the grid, but what happens, how the communication is inside, we didn't know. So I asked the customer, like, what do you think happens when you click here? And like I hope to get a really good answer, so we'll go back and do it. But and that's like for me was the moment I knew like we're onto something, because I never saw someone excited before. Like before they looked at me like, okay, I'd really be happy if you just leave, because you said a lot of confusing stuff and, you know, gave me a lot of work to do with the company. So you're not solving a solution. I know what I need to do, okay? So like, go away. So
for me, it was also kind of when I saw that image for the first time, for me it was kind of an immediate point.
You were the first one to recognize that we're onto something. Like you asked me when we knew product market fit, and that's the title. You should ask Avi. He knew. How did I know? I saw his eyes.
No, I was lucky.
He said, like, forget about money. Like, we need to raise money. We were shit at raising money, by the way, in the beginning. Like, really, like, it's a plus and a negative, because, like, it's negative because you want to die and you don't have money. But the plus side is, like, when every investor in Israel tells you no, after that, they really like you because you know, they said no. It's like, oh, we missed them. But it was our fault completely. We didn't know how to raise money. And Avi said at that point, like, it looks really good, continue, don't worry about money. That was like a very strong, you know, like a really great backwind at the time. So you knew.
So it's interesting what you say about product market fit and taking it to customers. For me, my point at which I had absolute conviction, and I knew this was going to be big. I never expected it to be this big, but big was that when I saw that screen with the board, it immediately touched me, because the last company that I founded was a company that did risk management and governance software, and our main screen to manage risks and things like that was a screen that looked like that. And you would click on it and then you'd put descriptions and it had formulas. And where we failed, I mean, the company was successful, we sold it, but where we failed technologically was that our company was started 10 years before TheTell-Tale, and there wasn't AWS, there was SQL Server, and it wasn't in the cloud, it was on-premise, and you couldn't have so many tables and you couldn't add more fields as readily as you want, and it was really, really difficult to, and we just couldn't build a solution. But the minute that I could see that, for me, it was kind of 300 customers of ours in my head suddenly, I knew could use this product.
Yeah, and I think that's the product market fit we found, that people think in tables, okay? If I give you a whiteboard and you need to organize something, what do? Rows and columns, okay? It's that simple. And people think in tables, and you have like, people use spreadsheets to manage a lot of things. not because
Thank you,
it's
Bill
good
Gates.
for it, but because it's a good table, not because it's good for management.
Yeah.
And, to tell you that we understood it, no. We understood it after we did it and after people liked it, because like we built a table because people think in tables. We also thought in tables. Okay, so we did that, and then, we understood it's bigger because we thought of like a simpler problem, like just product and the stuff we knew, right? Like connecting R&D with product and design, those kind of stuff, and managing all that. And, people ended up using it for, I don't know, running manufacturing plants, building airplanes, clinical trial research people manage on Monday, and managing a door installing operation in Houston, So.
Yeah. My son uses it for raising charity or for keeping track of his marks at school. Not exactly a business, but it is widely used
A lot
and
of
can be used.
executives take it home and manage their kids.
Oh,
Really,
good,
the chores in the house, they do it.
So
it's not a
yeah, we
supported use case.
run our whole business on it. So it's really become a core piece of what we do. But I want to go back. You mentioned something about that you were, and I quote, shit at fundraising. Why do you think you were bad at fundraising, or what do you think were the circumstances? And you got so many no's along the way, not just at the seed round, but at the A, and things B also, and C and D. But you got it right. After the B round, I suppose it was, things became far more formulaic, right?
So I think we understood, and when I do meet a lot of entrepreneurs, I think we were really grounded. Like we said, we didn't sell a story, okay? We said what we've done. We sold the past, okay? But we explained the past. So I remember we had 900 paying customers, and we went out fundraising. I think it was A. So, like, we couldn't do it with 900 customers and scaling like this. And, it begs the question, what are we doing wrong? We were explaining why we have 900 customers and that they are good, and we didn't explain the future really well and how we can grow. And investments are always about the future. They're not about the past. You're asking the valuation for the past, but they're buying the future. And so it's not about, and again, I covered this in the episode 12 in Start of a Startup, like there are 2 points in time that you need to explain really well, and you need to really understand how to explain them well. One is the faraway future, the summit, where this can go to, okay? No, like you need to dream, if you don't do it, the investors are not going to do it for you, okay? And it's important to show them that you're thinking about that. Essentially, it's talking about the market size and how do you see yourself in the future in that market size. Obviously, it's hard to get to that point that you feel that you're going to be significant, but that's an important part. And the second one is the next round. Okay, you need to explain this round, the next round. Like, what are you going to do with the money? Where will it bring you? And why there is no risk in getting them? Okay, like while it's like in Hebrew it's on סיכון, okay, פחות סיכון יותר טוב. And more importantly, like to narrow it down to one risk point. Okay, if you have like 5, that's a problem. It's hard to sign a deal with like 5 risk points. Okay, so like I think the round is closed when the other side really thinks there is no risk in getting to the next round. Okay, like there is a challenge, but the team is up for it. And I think that's something we learned to explain. And I think we did a shit job before explaining that.
So I suppose, everyone's building their companies now, or starting to think about their companies. And the journey is long. So how do people, how do you stay motivated? How do you make sure that you can, not arrive at work tired, and be a leader?
It's a really good question. So everyone has different drives of why they do it. I think in the beginning for us, for both myself and Eran, we really wanted to build something successful. And what did success mean? I'm old, like I'm in the company. Yeah, like I've been in tech since the tech bubble in 2000, okay? So my vision, like you wouldn't know what it is. A lot of you probably was ICQ, okay? That was like the pinnacle of success, okay? Like I thought, okay, if we did that, then, I've done something successful. But then we reached that point, okay? And like very far down the line, by the way. Like most of the time, like we're now at like, I don't know how many X's on that valuation, but like the valuation is exponential like the growth of the company, okay? So most of the time we were before ICQ valuation. But then we reached that point and I said, okay, like I reached that. What? Will I like now do a 10X on that? Like it doesn't make sense. Like this is not the goal anymore. Like I wrote that, like I marked that down and I can't have like another valuation as a goal for success because it doesn't make sense. And then what? I'll have another one. And so for me, it took a while to understand that, okay, it's here and we don't want to sell it. I like doing what I do, but the valuation of the company or its success cannot be the only goal. So the goal became, I think, how we will succeed. Okay, like it's not to succeed in terms of like evaluation, but what is the path? Are employees happy? Are everyone like feel they're engaged? They feel they have meaning in their lives? Okay, is investors happy? Do we try to, have them as partners or not? And we've obviously done that from the beginning. And then you have the community around us and, the world. Is it beneficial for us to, like are we adding carbon to the air and making money, or are we trying to, do something better in the world? And I think that for me, there was a lot of stress before the IPO and Eran as well, like that we've done. We said, okay, like we have 5 people on the board right now that are friends, investors, like they get it. Now we're going to have like, I don't know, thousands of people we don't know, and we can't do anything we want in the company. So it was important for us in the IPO to set the fund that we've donated, like put aside 10% of the equity of the company to do charitable stuff and like to build a fund of money. And I think that was important for me. So for me, it's not about having only a successful company, but a successful company that does really well for everyone, And that's
so. And I'd like to explore the foundation, the 110-1 foundation, in a second. But coming back to the concept of leadership, when TheTell-Tale started, the team wasn't exactly this team, and as it grew, the team changed a bit. And when we started, you were. How would you say, a junior leader? You didn't have the same skills that you have today. And I remember there's 2 or 3 times during the time that you grew where that we had a chat about, are you, not just me, also with Jeff and other people, are you the right guy to lead this company and to take it to the next level? So what made you, how did you change or how did you evolve to get that leadership and to get that team right? That's the first thing. And then second, I'd like to explore a bit about the foundation and what it does as well, because I think it's very pertinent.
So first off, I didn't want to lead. Okay, that's the let's say the beginning. Like I love building products, and I think in past companies, like I always try to find someone else to be the CEO. Like, why do I need to do that job? It's like awful. I want to build the products. They need to raise the money. Why do I need that crap? And so over time, like in those past companies, like I figured that, you know, I understood a lot of what needs to be done, and I had an opinion about it, and I cared about it. And you know, when I started the Pulse, I also didn't want to be CEO. Like, but then I saw that wherever I went, I understood that, you know, hey, if there is going to be someone doing it, and I'm from behind having an opinion about what to do, that's not going to be good for me. So why don't I give it a shot, okay? And so with that, it was a deep decision for me. With that, I understood that I'm going to have to let go of all the other stuff I love doing. You have to, okay? You can't. So I'm laughing about it today, but in the beginning I developed, wrote code, did the design, did the product. Then we added people and I built the product with them. Then I helped build the product through them. Like I had like, I don't know, team leaders or more people that I had to like work through. And today I'm talking with lawyers, accountants, and bankers. Okay, that's like was like a hero in the IPO, which kind of lives, you know. And now we're back to the product, okay, which is cool and more fun. But the point is, you have to do what is right for the company. And that's the decision, and then you have to learn and let go of ego and, you know, like mistakes, and understand you make mistakes all the time. You know, there is like, there's not a day that I don't do mistakes. Like, the question is if you learn from them and then improve. And I think
one of the biggest strengths you have in the last 8 years or so has been your recovery. So the ability to even understand objectively that you've made an error or gone wrong somewhere, and to be able to change direction and get it right without the ego getting in the way.
That's like, I talked with Eran yesterday, like, and I don't know how, it's a skill, we need to talk about it more. How do you sit somewhere and just listen, and when someone says, you know, something that is like contradicts what you thought, you just listen and say, oh, maybe I was wrong, okay? That happens to me every day. Like, how do you really listen to people and not try and defend yourself, okay? So we have a saying in Monday, like, you're defensive, okay? But it doesn't help someone not be defensive when you tell them you're defensive. So I don't know what does, but I think that point of like just, and we get that a lot from, you know, customers, criticism on a lot of stuff. You get posts like that are like awful. Someone is like writing shit about us somewhere. It doesn't happen a lot, but when it does, we're like, I want to learn, I want to know, and some people are not. Like, oh, he's an asshole, he's like written that, and it's not true. I said, yeah, but what is true? Okay, what is the real stuff in it, and not the, yeah, he didn't write it for nothing. So,
yeah. So last thing just to mention, which I think is important in the Monday sense. So we have this foundation at Monday, 110.1,
yeah.
100% of the product free to non-government organization, non-profits, 10% of the equity long-term, and 1% of the IPO proceeds that went to the foundation.
Yeah, and also 1% volunteering. So yes. It's like it's 110.1.01.
It's a big, ultimately it's a big package. It's a big package to put aside.
Yeah, like when we researched about it, the other last company behind us was like 2% of the equity. So it was a hard thing to agree to, because people said it might be hurt the company, but it didn't. Like people really loved it, and the public market really loved it, because they said, okay, you're upfront about it. If we need to discount something in the Excel files, we'll do it. And it went on really well. So,
but I think it became part of the culture of the business, of giving, of wanting to be a part of the world, be a part of something more than just Monday.com and my personal, my personal home and my little holidays, right?
Yeah, so we have like something we say a lot is like do good. It's like a statement in Monday. It can mean a lot of things. For us, it means doing the right thing. So if it's pricing with customers, if it's whatever it is, like we say it's do good, and then people kind of say, okay, let's make it work. Let's find the energy to do it, because
it's right. It's the right thing to do, not because it's right for you or it's convenient, but it's just the right thing.
Yeah, but there is a matter of timing. Let's say you have a billing thing that worked like in advantage for the company, okay? So we kind of build something that is gradual over a year and kind of roll that out and do those kind of stuff. So yeah, but eventually, there is I really believe in karma, what you dish out, that's what you get. So whatever good we do, it trickles down, and it trickles down to I think all the employees when they know we're up to doing the right thing. So you have at the end, I don't know, someone answering or dealing with the customer, they know the company wants to do the right thing. So they'll ask people, but this is what's good for them, and we'll do it. And with the sales team, we have like a saying, never sell anyone something they don't need, because you can sell them. And a lot of those stuff along the company, it's like sowing the seeds, because at the end, if we go through it, there's like hundreds of stuff, most of them I don't know about. But sowing the right seeds in the company that it'll grow to be like that, I think that's what's important.
Yeah, that's its culture, and that's the long term.
Yep.
Great. So we're running out of time, so we thought maybe we'd ask, we'd check if anyone wants to ask any questions. There's a microphone in the middle. So if you just want to walk up, say your name and your company.
Hey everyone, my name is Aaron Pratt. I'm from Tehiro Space. My question is about personal growth. We're all at some point in our life deciding to move to management. It takes a few years to get used to not be down in the weeds and start looking from the high level. I'm interested as a founder and as a CEO, who are the people that gave you the most added value in terms of growing to the areas you needed to grow to? Was it advisors, people within the team, investors?
Cool, it's a great question, and I think reality was the best teacher, because when you, my biggest pain point in growth, when I, what you said, moving to away from hands-on, okay, was product, okay? The R&D, Ran is better than I am in R&D, so I gave it to them. That was his problem, but he gave it away really easily. He's better than I am. But in product, it was really hard, okay? Not really sitting with people, defining what the product is. And then we discovered that whatever I was good at was the place that didn't develop well in the company, okay? Product, because we did it, we decided we were good at it, but we didn't have the time to follow up on stuff. We released a feature, what are the numbers? We did a lot of stuff, so, and then things didn't work well in that scale, so we knew we had to let go. And that part, I think, the decision to let go is the personal growth. And then once you decide, you get all the people you talked about, coach to understand you how to do it well and those kind of stuff. But that decision, that wish that, I need to let this go, this was taught by pain, so.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Hi, thank you for coming. My name's Eitan. When you're leading an organization around a problem that, let's say, is a lot easier to relate to, like climate change or education, I feel like it's a lot easier to inspire your team because they're working towards a problem and solving that problem, and all the challenge is worth it. And I was wondering to what extent you incorporate that value into what you're doing at Monday, because from the way you're talking and from what I understand about the business, it's very solution oriented and you love the product for the sake of the technology. So I'm wondering how you kind of incorporate that inspiration into your leadership, if at all.
Yeah, it's a great question. It's actually not exactly the case. We have a team, like Monday is a team that builds tools for other people to build whatever they want, to reach whatever they want. So we get so much like love from customers. You changed our lives, not the business, our lives. We don't fight anymore. We don't, like, you enable us to do those things. And I think that's the motivation we always had in the company. It's a privilege, okay, that we have that. And I think that's why when we went to do social impact stuff, we're again helping NGOs, okay? We're not necessarily doing all the operation ourselves, we're helping others. And that is like a huge motivator. Like people who deal with customers love working with them because they feel they're really helping them. So I think that's great, and I think every business can find, as long as they do something that is beneficial for the planet, okay, can find the path to, cybersecurity, okay. Again, you can do good, can do bad, okay, but like if you're doing good, people know it and they feel it.
I understand. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Bar from Les Sablettes. And first of all, it's make me feel, I don't know, this conversation make me feel good because I think that we are struggling now and we are fail every day, so we need to to fight. And my question is, how you actually choose your investors? What was the most important thing for you? If you know that you are doing something good and you know that you do something that people need, but it's hard to explain to investors from their perspective what they're looking for, and you have things that are important for you, how you can, what was most important for you? I think that in the end of the day is relationship, and it's something that you need to build in the future. And it's just interesting to me.
It's a great question. So I think in the beginning, you want to survive, like you pick them by the ones who write the check, right? Because you need to get the company going and alive, So I don't know if you have that privilege. If you do, then, and at some point we did, okay? And then we picked people who can, like I believe in value add, like investors can really help you, but the most thing they can help you with is representing well the money, okay? Like they're in a very strong position in the company, and if they know like what the money goes after and they want like long term, like they're aligned with you and they back it up by the actions they take with the money, that's the most important part. Not, teaching you how to be a better manager or whatever. Like building up the company is your side. Their side is writing the check. And it makes a continually impactful thing on the business and on the board, on the dynamic, is where they think you should go. Okay, and so alignment, okay, whatever it is, everyone maybe have different alignment. I think is like expectation setting and alignment is the most important thing, and then their power to write the check. Okay, some of them have to go through like 5 other people. Okay, so like, is it a decision maker? Okay, is it like, was it super hard for them? Because then the next thing will also be hard. But
thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm a little shorter. Amit, I'm the co-founder and CEO of Goodwill. First I want to say thank you to Roy and from Monday.com. Because of you, our company was established. I met my second co-founder and our CTO and everybody else. So much thanks to Startup and Monday.com. My question for you is, how do you manage your hierarchy of making decisions as a CEO in front of the investment team or everybody else in the company?
You mean the board, like the investment team?
How do you manage the hierarchy between you?
So, like, there is a thing in companies that is a disagree and commit, okay? We don't believe in that. I think if you disagree, don't commit, and like both down and up. So, so whenever we have like a hard decision or something that might be a conflict, we need to get the voices of everyone and kind of work at it and make, it's not our decision versus them. Maybe they're right, you know? So let's work hard to explain, like every time someone disagrees with you, it's a burden on you to work hard to make a better claim and convince them, okay? And if they are really listening and they wanna, you know, talk about it, so listening is the best thing, and then you incorporate it. I can tell you on the fund, I initially thought we should do like 10% of the profit we'll have in the future. And everyone was against it. And I said, why? It's in the future. And someone then explained to me, like, it's like taking a cake and taking 10% off the top of the cake. The whole cake is ruined. Why don't you take like a portion of the cake, like 10% like of the equity? And it looks funny to me because like 10% of the equity is also 10% of the profit at the end, okay? But it's also more. So I said, okay, and that turned out to be amazing, you know? So sometimes like a disagreement is not, like, you need to listen. So.
Thank you.
Hi, Igal Lavi from PlayShield. I'm wondering, as a very Israeli company, how did you go about going into the US market?
So for us, it was kind of easy. We flipped the switch on the internet, you know, and it was no touch funnel. They have internet as well, and we wrote it in English. So it initially started like in 190 countries, not just like the US. It's like everywhere. So I don't know if it's a different company, different business. I don't know. We didn't have that challenge.
But you didn't find it harder, like different language, different way of doing business?
We didn't do it in Hebrew. So
no, I mean different language of business, not just the language itself.
Yeah, but so we started with a no-touch funnel. It was always online. All of it was online. But I can tell you who started the sales team for us was someone in the customer success team, and they were Dutch, you know, hard to understand their English, and they do amazingly well. It's like one of our best people. So I don't think there is. It's such a big difference, and it's easy to do sales from Israel to the US to begin with. Then you need to scale, and it depends. Enterprise sales is different, like mid-market, small. Each thing is different.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Ofer, and I'm the CTO of Cyberview. I wanted to ask if you said about fundraising, that before you go fundraising, you need to have clients, you need to have the revenue, and build a company. But I wanted to ask, where is the exact line? When is the point that I know that I have enough? Because I don't think there's a limit to it. I can have many clients, can have 2 clients, but where is the point that I can say, okay, now I'm going to fundraise money because that's what I need for my company?
So I think you should raise money when you want to raise money, not when you have customers or whatever, when you need it, okay? But even before you need it, because you know, working without a salary, I think is like very hard. It was hard for me. It didn't help me be better, okay? But then when you raise money, you need to succeed at it. So then you need to understand what will make you succeed, not when. Okay, but again, like go for the chapter, the episode 12 in the podcast. It's like it covers all of it, and I think we're out of time, right?
These are last 2 questions.
Last 2, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Hagar. I am from Salesforce, and my question to you is following what you've said about how you presented the product, and you saw in Avi's eyes or in their eyes that it's good. What are more like telltales of you're going in the right directions, right? So a few milestones before you got your investment or before you even knew you were good or the company's going in a good direction, what would be the things that have to happen or are an indication that you're going the right way?
Cool, that's a great question. So I feel like it's important that if you have a product that you're going to take money for, take money. It's like I don't remember the number of the episode, but we have a few about those. Why? Because it's the best indication for everything. Like we had 6 customers we talked with, but the 11th customer was someone we didn't know online. That was like, boom, you know? Someone online went in and paid. Why?
Willingness to pay.
Yeah. So the fact that and the willingness to pay is great. Paying is better because the willingness is like different. It's slightly different. So if you have a product, even if you think it's crap, put pricing and an ability to pay. Someone will. And then, you know, you'll ask why it's crap. I don't believe in it. We need to like build 100 other stuff into it. So pick up the phone, call them, and ask them. And then you'll learn a lot. And I think this is what gives you the only sign, the real market and customers, you know, nothing else.
Thank you.
Last question.
Hi. So I'm Lior. I'm from the workplace team in Meta, previously known as Facebook. What I wanted to ask you is about the example you said in regards to Wix being the basis of what you built the product for, and how you later on evolved the product to be more focused on SMB and mid-market. Usually there's a tendency when you tell teams to change the product that they already are in love with what they did before. What were the principles you used to make sure that you focus on building the product for the right clients?
So it's more of a psychology journey than a principle, because like it was me, it all was in my head and Eran's head, but we believed, you know, we were the team. We believed what we built was right. So, and what happened was simple and luck, because we went to, like every week I would meet like a customer or two. Okay, and then you go to that customer, you talk with them, they are excited and then don't do nothing. And then we said, let's go to Web Summit in Dublin. There was an event, and what happened in the event is that we talked with, like, I scheduled a lot of calls and we had a booth and it was cool, and I talked with like 40, 50 startups a day, okay? That's like a complete difference of like, you know, volume. And then I understood, like I met like a CEO of a 700 company. I thought he looked at me like I was the plague, really. Like I'm asking him to do something like he didn't really want, something that had to do with 700 people. And then we talked with like companies of 30, 40 people. They were like, oh, that's the best problem. That's our problem. That's exactly what. So when you do that like 2 a week and you do it like 40 a day, you know, that kind of, you know, I recognized the pattern. And then it allowed me to say, okay, we were wrong, you know, this is it. But it was luck.
Yeah, but the harder you work, the luckier you got. So everyone, thank you very much to Roy Mann for coming. Really appreciate it. And there's going to be a break now, a coffee break, so we reconvene, I think, in 15 minutes. Thank you.